place. We like magic. We have 5-color zoo, Rainbow Zoo for you today. Something I've been working on for a very long time. Since the format rotated and a little bit before, I've been working on Rainbow Zoo for you. It's changed an awful lot. Let me show you what I've got. Dope rhymes, son. Before we do the creatures, which is how I normally do things, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that we're playing a playset of a spell. 4 copies of Bring to Light. Incredibly important for the deck. Bring to Light is becoming an important and popular card in the format and does so many good things for us in this deck. If I was playing no other spells, I would still play a playset of Bring to Light. It allows us to employ sort of a toolbox strategy, which we're definitely doing. A lot of 1-ofs and 2-ofs in the deck, and we can pull it off because we have this card. That's out of the way, we can start talking about creatures. 25 creatures in this zoo deck here, and we are in a 5-color deck playing 2 1-drops. I know some people immediately are going to be like, oh, what? But we're doing it. These are creatures that cost 1 mana, but you'll almost never ever play them on the first turn, and that's not how they're designed. We're playing 1 copy of Dragonmaster Outcast and 1 copy of Warden of the First Tree. Warden of the First Tree surprised me with how good he was. I just sort of threw him in as a 1-of early in the deck's construction, and he never ever came out. Just good in the early game as blockers if that's what you need them to be against certain decks, but they really shine a little bit later on in the game, and both of them function as later game drops despite only having 1 CMC. We're playing some quote-unquote ramp in the deck. I say quote-unquote and give it that qualifier because it's mostly just to fix our mana. We're playing 4 copies of Beastcaller Savant and then 2 copies of Rattleclaw Mystic. Both really help out with our mana. Some quirks though, you know, Savant does not help us cast Bring to Light or either of the Planeswalkers that we're playing in the deck. That's kind of dumb, but helps us cast everything else. You know, this on the second turn, next turn, Siege Rhino is always a really, really good sequence, and helps us cast, you know, any, say, dragon that we're playing at the top end of the deck, you know, so Beastcaller Savant, a definite must, and Rattleclaw Mystic not only ramps us, but it does help us play Bring to Light, and that's very, very important. 2 more cards I'll do together because they're so closely associated. 2 copies of Den Protector and 1 copy of Deathmist Raptor. Deathmist Raptor definitely still has a place in the deck. Gives us a fair amount of resiliency, combos well with Den Protector, but Den Protector is just a beast unto himself in every deck that he's in, but especially this one, you know. Anything that goes to the graveyard, we can get it back. I mean, that's all I have to say about Den Protector. We've absolutely got to have it. Just 1 copy of Nissa in the deck. We're only playing 1 basic forest in the deck, but obviously later on in the game, when we can play this and flip her pretty easily, she's just a house, you know. Being able to just generate card advantage for us is really, really good later on, and just being able to make a dude is fantastic, you know. Better than you might think, because it's kind of a dude that like never goes away. Like they can kill it, just make another one, whatever. And her ultimate ain't half bad either in a deck that's full of land, so that's pretty cool. Our mid-game is crazy because we're just playing the best creatures in the entire format. You know, 4 copies of Mantis Rider, 4 copies of Siege Rhino. It's great to play these guys together. And then 1 copy, just a singleton copy, of Butcher of the Horde over here. You can sacrifice your early, like, mana dorks to Butcher of the Horde and swing in for, like, you know, flying lifelink. That's always really good. And obviously, Siege Rhino and Mantis Rider need no introduction at all. They're 2 of the absolute best beaters in the format right now. And because of Beastcaller Savant, we can consistently play Mantis Rider on the 3rd turn and consistently play Siege Rhino on the 3rd turn. That's where most of our mana is in those 3 colors. We really need to make more black mana. We've got to work on that. But that being said, Mantis Rider and Siege Rhino are both fantastic 3rd turn options after you played a Beastcaller. And yeah, I know Mantis Rider only costs 3, but it's really hard to make these 3 colors early in the game. White we do very well, red and blue not so much. So we need the fixing from Rattleclaw or Beastcaller Savant to reliably play them on the 3rd turn. 3 dragons here at the sort of top end of our curve, you know. We're playing 1 copy of Dragonlord Ojutai, 1 copy of Kolaghan the Storm's Fury, which is a flexible slot, and then 1 copy of Silumgar the Drifting Death, the only thing that we can't bring to light in the deck. But a lot of Bring to Light decks play 1 copy of Silumgar, and I totally understand why. All 3 of these do something for us, you know. Silumgar the Drifting Death sort of can remove creatures and is just a hexproof sort of beater that clocks them. Same thing with Ojutai, and Ojutai is a great hexproof beater that clocks them, and sucks that, you know, he loses hexproof when we swing in. But that aside, gives us card advantage, really good card advantage, by the way. And then Kolaghan being able to buff a team, you know, we've got 25 creatures, that's not bad at all. So I do want to play all 3 of these guys. And to round out the creature, one of the more important creatures in the deck, 1 copy of Tasigur the Golden Fang. Tasigur is just crazy. He's absolutely stupid and ridiculous, and we can play him for very, very cheap a lot of the time. Very good body on the guy, and obviously he helps our resiliency out too. Just being able to get any card that we get back in the graveyard is going to be good, you know. Especially if we can delve away the fetch lands to play him, and then start using his ability, you know, that's just really, really crazy. The card is dumb, and I could just tell you everything that's good about it, but I think it's summarized by just saying the card is dumb. It's seen play in Modern and Legacy, and totally see why. The card is fairly broken. couple of copies of Planeswalkers in the deck, one copy of Kiora and one copy of Sorin over here. Don't really have to explain Sorin too much. He's just ridiculously awesome, you know. Team of 25 guys, his +1 is crazy. He can make wolves, you know, or vampires, excuse me. Just good Planeswalker all around. Gotta have him in the deck. Not playing Gideon in the main. There's one on the side. There was a Gideon instead of a Kiora for a very long time, very long, but ultimately I decided I kind of like Kiora and this a little bit better, you know. Her +1 is super relevant. Untap a mana guy, untap a land, that's awesome. Her second ability is very good. Helps us fix our mana if that's what we need to do. Helps us get a bomb creature, which we have a million of in the deck, you know. And her ultimate is really stupid when it pulls off. Just if you can pull it off. It's a hard ultimate to pull off, but super good. So game winning almost immediately. But that second ability on her is pretty much where we want to be, you know. And I can understand playing Gideon instead of Kiora in the main deck. I've, again, put him in the sideboard. A lot of inevitability on Gideon. And his being able to give your whole team the emblem is just super good too. But in the end, I played equal parts pretty much, you know, equal time with both. And I think I like Kiora a little better for what the deck is trying to do. And a couple of miscellaneous removal pieces. One copy of Valorous Stance and one copy of Murderous Cut. Obviously, Val Stance helps protect our own creatures, including Ojutai when he swings in. That's a very important use of the card. And kills huge guys, including, you know, Siege Rhinos, opposing dragons, blah, blah, blah. So we got to play at least one copy of Valorous Stance. The Murderous Cut. We've got an awful lot of fetch lands in the deck, and I really want to take advantage of that by playing Murderous Cut or Dig or Treasure Cruise, but I think it's more important, honestly, since we have, you know, Nissa draws us cards, Tasigur helps with sort of drawing cards, you know, getting old value out of things. We've got more than one thing, you know. Kiora helps us filter through cards, so we've got a lot of ways to sort of filter cards. And I'm not saying that it's completely enough. I wouldn't mind playing one copy of Treasure Cruise, but I just think it's more important to play a Murderous Cut because we have virtually no removal in the deck, and that can kind of suck against a lot of stuff. So at least one Murderous Cut, I think, is important. You may have noticed before I move on to the lands here that we're not playing Jace. I wonder if you've already posted that comment and then come back to the video. We're not playing Jace in this deck. You know why? Because Jace. That's why. Somebody finally said it. We don't need him in this, you know. I just don't think it's worth playing Jace in the main deck, you know, or even in the sideboard. We can get away without doing it is all I'm saying. I know a lot of people are going to counter me on that and say Jace is super important to the deck and every deck in the freaking format, but a couple of things. I don't feel like forking over $300 for just to play this deck. You know, the deck is already incredibly expensive. If we added Jace, it would easily be the most expensive deck in Standard. And I'm not saying that that's a hindrance. I want to make the deck as good as possible, and I know I'm going on a long time here, but it's just at this point we need to start a movement like erase the Jace. You know, one more thing before I move on. Had a buddy tell me yesterday that he went to the card shop trying to find play sets of Jace. Couldn't find any. The people that did have them didn't want to trade them away. You know what he came away from the card shop with? A playset of Tarmogoyfs instead. It's gotten to that point where it's so much easier to get Tarmogoyfs than it is to get freaking Jace from 3 months ago. It's got to stop. Okay, so pardon me that. 27 lands in the deck, and this is one of the more difficult parts of the deck to put together. The land base changed way more than anything over the course of time. But this is, I think, what we want to do. There are a total of 14 fetches in the deck, one of each battle land, one of each basic, and then a couple of the person lands. And then a lot of more ways to round it out. We really need to make green and black in the deck an awful lot. So I think this is pretty much where we want to be in the land base. There's a couple of different directions we can go. I'd really like to make more black, but I don't want to take anything out of this mana base. I could see taking an island out because we're making more blue than we really need to make, but we need basic lands to turn on the battle lands. So it's a push-pull, and this is where we've landed here. Here's our incredibly diverse sideboard. We're playing a lot of one-ofs in the sideboard, you know. I really like to play Radiant Flames in the deck, but I really hate how it messes with our guys early game, especially our mana dudes. Not a big fan, so I've just included some, you know, smaller game removal, especially Roast, very important. Hangerback Walker, good against aggro decks to help us sort of get into the mid-game where we want to be. So we have some tools against it. And notice, you know, Collected Company didn't make the main deck, because we're playing a lot of things at 4 and 5 mana cost. Didn't want to mess around with that. And then Savage Knuckleblade, a lot of people are going to be like, I didn't make the main deck. There was a 2-of in the main deck for like 2 weeks, and just every time I saw it I was like, nah, Savage Knuckleblade, you know. It just wasn't, it was never, I didn't want to see it as much as I wanted to see like anything else in the entire deck, so I just ended up cutting it, you know. Here are our power rankings for this deck, and you know, we're pretty good in a lot of areas here, because if you look at the deck, it's just a who's who of important cards in Standard except for Jace. He's not invited to this party. Why am I still so mad at Jace? But anyway, our host, a litany of amazing standard cards here, helps our versatility, helps our resiliency out. You know, we've got decent offense, kind of lacking in the defense department, but we do very well in both game one and after board because our board is so diverse. And we could be a little more consistent, but you can't help that in a 5-color deck, you know. So, and we're fairly fast because we have mana guys to ramp us into our big dudes, and our big dudes hit the board with a vengeance. Like, all of them really command respect when they hit the board. Anything at the 3-mana slot and up really commands some kind of respect, and they're going to have to pull out all the stops to remove all these guys, and we can get them back with Tasigur. We can get them back with Den Protector. There's so many ways that we can do things, and we can tutor things up, bring to light anything we need at the time, you know. So we've got a lot of options available to us in the deck, is all I'm saying. In case you haven't added it all up yet, a final score of 68, which is that's a very good score for a standard deck. Again, mostly because we're playing all the best cards except Jace, who cares? But even without the Jace, the cost of the deck is roughly 1 sack of blood diamonds delivered on a foggy night under a full moon. Seriously, like, it's that, the cost of the deck is absolutely bonkers. Mostly because of the lands, but even because of some of the other cards we're playing. It's just, it's all the expensive chase rares in the format. I'm sorry about that. Well, it looks like we made it to the end. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the thumbs up button for me. Please just like, share, comment, and subscribe when we know how you felt. And sub, because we are there, you guys. In like 3 days, we'll be at 10,000 subs. And I'm not going to waste too much time on it. I know some people have no patience for thank yous, but thank you so freaking much. We have literally the best subscribers on YouTube. I know everybody says that, but I mean it. You guys like know what you're talking about. You have like very well-reasoned conversations in the comments. And like we have the only comment section on YouTube that knows how to write. So you guys are awesome. One thing I was thinking about doing, by the way, very, very soon is finally thoroughly explaining these power rankings. It's sort of a short video, and a lot of people are wanting that. Sort of how do I come to these power rankings, what goes into each sort of category. So I will be doing that for you very soon. Well, this is the real end of things. My name is Dev from MTG, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, as usual, for watching, my wizards.